Right, in this video, I'm building a simple stud wall. This is a very common job where I'm dividing an area exactly in two. So this will become 2 bedrooms. And originally when the house was built, this is a 10-year-old house, I'm on the first floor. We've got concrete floors with insulation, underfloor heating and screed. And so when they built this house, they intended it, if it needed to be split to 2 bedrooms, to be split. And that's exactly what I'm doing now. It's really nice working in a modern property. Everything's fairly straight, fairly true, fairly flat. So when you're actually building a new stud wall, for example, it's a lot more straightforward than working in a Victorian house, for example, where floors run out, ceilings are bendy, walls are bowing. So yeah, that makes a change. So bear in mind the fact that we've got underfloor heating in here. I've decided to bond down the plate onto the floor. So I've let that go off and I'm at the point where I'm going to put the ceiling plate up, and I've removed the fibrous plaster cornice there so my wall can run right into the corner and my stud up the wall can go in as well. And this is basically what I'm going to do next. I've got to establish where the trusses are. I know that they run all the way across, and I can see a plasterboard line here, which is where I can measure from. What we need to do is work out where those joists are. Now this is the head plate. I've cut the head plate in, so what I can do is, once I've got those marks, transfer them onto here and pilot them, and then we'll get it in. So let's try and find that truss first. Tiny little 4mm drill bit. So there's the truss. So that's roughly the centre of it. So we can measure 600 either way now. No. Now that one's in the right place. And then there'll be one at the end. Right at the end. So, the ones we know are good is this one, 650. 650 there. $1,400. Next one, which we knew where it was, which was 1855. There. So there's no rhyme or reason to these trusses. It's probably because there's some doubles and triples and all sorts of stuff. 650. There we go. All right, well, we've got enough fixings in there. Now we're going to pilot those through and get ready to fix that plate up. I'm going to use a counterbore which has got a 6mm pilot, and it's got a fairly decent counterbore. I think it's about 16mm. Right, I can just put the screws in there, so they're already in. And we'll get the wall stud done. Measure the wall stud. Get some fixings in that too. Okay. Give me a hand that will hold it for me. So by doing that, I can sit the head plate over there. It's like having another person at the other end, and drive my furthest screw in and then just straighten the middle up, because timber's not always dead straight. I can just then pull it left and right to my laser line and we're in business. Piece of cake now. There's my second pair of hands down there. Then all I've got to do is work along, make sure it's nice and straight, which is perfect, and screw them in. Job's a good one. Sole plates in, wall studs in, bonded back, head plates in, all screwed up. So I'm going to repeat the process there and put another wall stud in, and then we're going to fill in the studs. And there's one more trick I need to show you about getting those studs nice and flat. First of all, I'll fix that other wall stud, which is exactly the same as this one, and then we'll come on to that. Although this isn't the tip, if you once you've chosen where your first stud is, just put a small saw cut in, and then you can hook your tape in. It's a really nice trick to do when marking any kind of timber out, this one. Right, so I've got the perimeter of the stud wall round, head plate all screwed in, I've got the two ends screwed in, and obviously the sole plate's glued down. And now I've marked it all up. So the first thing I did was choose where my first stud was going, and in my case it's right here, and the reason for that is because I'm bonding a whole sheet of plasterboard over the existing wall. And the reason for that is because if I'd have butted the wall and plastered to it, it's invariably going to crack here. So by actually going straight over the face of this wall, it's a much more solid job. We can just extend the screws for this room stat out and it will be absolutely perfect. So I've measured my first board from the internal corner there. It's going to be bonded back, and the full width of the sheet comes to this stud here. That's where I started. We're also going to go top to bottom. So we're not going with the plasterboard left to right or crossways, because of the fact that this room is exactly one plasterboard high. So it eliminates even more joints basically. And then we're going to go one board width 1200 across, 1200, 1200. So the studs are effectively at 400 centers. So that's the next trick. Now, what I've got here is a series of timbers down there. Now they're fairly straight, but what we want to do is arrange them onto the stool so that they sit on both ends on edge. And then we can make sure that when they're sitting together as a pack, they're really nice and flat. Then we can simply number them 1 to 8 or whatever the case may be. And when we cut them, we make sure that the numbers are all in order. And if we've numbered it at the top, all the numbers at the top. And then when you spread those studs out, the wall is exactly as flat as the pack here. So any bows, if you've got the bows the wrong way, they'll show up by ripply plaster. We don't want that. That's what we want. We want the stud from virtually end to end here. Then we're going to stack them all on, and we're going to arrange them so they're all flat. And if they're flat here, end to end, they're going to be flat when we cut them and space them out. We can also see if we've got any really badly twisted ones, which we can omit. Now you're going to get twisted timbers this time of year, so summer, and even though these have been stored dry, the weather takes a toll on it, and as soon as it starts drying out, sometimes it tightens up, twists, bows, cups. But you know, sometimes you can't do anything about it and you have to use them. It's just how you deal with it. Right, there we go. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We need 8, we've got 8. Now I can straight away see that some of these are really high. That one, for example, this one, for example. These ones are low, so we need to start spinning them around until they're much closer to flat. And then we've got all of the bows in the right direction. Sometimes you have to just completely shift them around, flatten them right off. Right, so they're pretty flat, that's pretty good now. Now what I want to do is make sure that where my board joins are, I've got the best stud with the least twist. The other ones, where there's no board join, I can afford to put the twist in because the plasterboard will still pull back because we know they're flat. So I've got the first one, the third one, and the seventh one. And they're the ones for the plasterboards. So I want to make sure that I rearrange it last time to suit that. And that one's lovely, that's number 1. Then we come over to this one. That's not too bad, it's got a little bit of twist, but it will do. And that one's got a lot of twist, so we can shift these things around a bit. We can pull that one over to there. And we can move him to there. That's perfect. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to mark these at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6. I might swap that one for my next plasterboard join. Yeah, let's put him back in here. Right, now I've got myself a set of studs, I reckon. That's it. That one's pretty twisted. I think we'll get rid of that and we'll go and get another one. But apart from that, these are good. 5, 6, 7. Okay, I'm all set up. Now I'm going to cut the studs in. Now, the way I like to do this is, there's so many different ways to do it. You can just use a tape measure and mark it. But the problem with a lot of the timber now is got an eased edge. So when you measure to the edge, because it's rounded, it doesn't give you an exact measurement. Also, when you're going against the ceiling, so the ceiling can move and the floor can't here. You know, so even if you were long, you could probably whack it in, but it's best not to force anything up in the air. What you want is just like a pinch fit. Now, the way I like to do that is using a electronic type tape. Okay, so this, I just turn this on, hold it on the stud position, press the laser, and then I can just measure up. And it gives me pretty much the exact measurement. So 2 meters, 337. And that's what I'll cut. Now I've numbered all these studs. I'm going to keep the numbers at the top and facing the same way, whichever way I start. And I've got my nail gun ready. And so I'm going to start that end and work all my way through. So that's the first process, 2, 3, 3, 7. Transfer that onto the first stud, which I'll pull over from the back here. Easy. I'm just going to repeat that process. So that's the timber part of the petition done. The next job I'm doing is running a set of noggins all the way through the middle. I'm running all of these in line. Sometimes you see them staggered. I like to keep them in line. And then that's pretty much it. So that was basically what I did. Glued the sole plate. Started by putting a wall plate up the wall. That made me simply get the head plate in on my own and then fill the studs in one by one. Really simple job. The other thing is I'm using 5x2, which is 125 by 50, and that's purely because I can get all my insulation, all my services, anything else that needs to go in it, and it's nice and stout, and that's just a personal preference. Thanks for joining me.